engines roar, the night ignites. Rubber burns under neon lights. Chrome shining, stars align. Dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow. Pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke. Lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels. Heat from the asphalt, raw and real. Track's a snake, it twists and winds. Grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal. Victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms. The checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels. Heat from the asphalt, raw and real. Track's a snake, it twists and winds. Grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal. Victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms. The checkered flag, it seals the room.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening from the beautiful Talladega Super Speedway. As these drivers get ready to rumble and get ready to duke it out here this evening, it is qualifying time. They are jumping out on the racetrack. They're laying down their quick times, hoping that they can find that extra little bit of speed, that extra little bit of gear that they can work themselves into a great starting spot here this evening from Talladega Super Speedway. As this is our first night of playoff racing. Playoffs getting underway here this evening, so for all of our playoff drivers, they're hoping that they can have a very, very good run, a very solid drive, and hopefully try to put themselves up and into the winner's circle here this evening. As each and every one of them hoping that they can find their way into the next round of the playoffs. As of right now, all these drivers that are in the playoffs, they're pretty much tied, except for any of the drivers that earned any of the bonus points and put themselves into a good position to start this playoff series. And for every round that they got those bonus points, it could potentially work them into a very, very good spot here throughout this season. We'll take a look here at our point standings right now as these drivers get ready to rumble. They get ready to duke it out. Let's take a look here, as right now it is Brian Underwood. Underwood does have the most points saved up here. He's got the most bonus points, so he starts out with 2,015 points. Then we see Brandon Holder. Holder currently with 2,007 points is currently in that second position here with Ben Gleason, Danny White, Melvin Branger, Jonathan Gaston. They're in fifth. Now, all the other playoff drivers are tied for seventh with 2,000 points alone, which includes Nathan Brookover, Jordan Crider, Joshua Crider, Chris Getz, James Robbins, and Michael Ware here this year for our Season 6. I believe it is the Season 6 playoffs already underway. So for all of our playoff drivers to try to have a good run, to try to have a good race, and try to put themselves into a position where they can survive Talladega, survive maybe the big one out there on the Speedway, and work themselves into the show. As each and every one of these drivers, they are laying down their quick times. They're trying to put themselves into a good starting spot here. We do see Michael Ware right now currently sits in second second. Shane Wyatt up into position number 1. So for the Sim Rep Market ride, he jumps into that top spot, but he doesn't stay there for long, as we will see Brengror jump in front of him. Now we see Stoney Benfield and Ryan Stevenson. Great run right there for Stevenson as he gets that Monster Energy ride to the point here. Quick time on the racetrack right now for that 10 ride this evening. Now, for a lot of these drivers, qualifying really isn't a huge deal. Obviously, if you can start closer to the front, you may feel a little bit more comfortable there at the front of the field compared to the back of the pack. But nonetheless, if you can start just anywhere really out there on the racetrack, it should put you into a pretty good spot, as you just never know. You know, you can go from the back to the front in a quick hurry as qualifying quickly coming to a close. We'll get ready here for our opening command, and we're going to also get ready for a little bit of a surprise here this evening, as well as we got Lonnie Crider coming in, giving us the shout here today for what is going to be an absolutely amazing night of racing action, and a special national anthem here in this one. So get ready for it, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go.
We'd ask everyone, if they could, to stand and remove your hats as the Boone County High School Band from Florence, Kentucky does our national anthem. Thank you very much. Boone County High School from Florence, Kentucky, doing our national anthem. Gentlemen, start those engines and let's go racing.
Alrighty, shout out there to Lonnie Crider, and shout out to the band there giving us the national anthem here this evening, as we'll get ready to set them loose. We'll get ready to duke it out here this evening, as it is time for these drivers to shine. Qualifying has come to a close, and that means we will get ready here for our main feature event. 80 laps of racing action here from Talladega Super Speedway. And here in this one, we are going to see 2 stages for these drivers. So 2 stages, 2 opportunities to try to earn some points. That could be the make or break that you need to try to solidify yourself in as a playoff driver here this evening. As Ryan Stevenson will start in the pole position to his outside in the 72. Then it's Jonathan Gaston. Starting in position number 3 in the 79, that is the beautiful looking ride of Mr. Danny White. To his outside in the 97, that is Stoney Benfield. Stoney Benfield will start there in 4th. Starting back in that 5th position, the Shark Ninja ride, that is Melvin Brengror. To his outside in the High Velocity Racing 99, it is Sean Wilder. Starting back in the 7th position in the Dude Wipes number 76, that is Farrell Robbins. To his outside in the 47, that is William Elmore. Elmore will start there in 8th. Starting in position number 9 in the 75 ride, that is Michael Ware. To his outside in the 23, the Simrap Market ride, that is Shane Wyatt. Starting there in 10th. Starting back in position number 11 is Wyatt Youngblood, starting there in the 11th spot. To his outside the 71, that is Brandon Dayhuff. Dayhuff will start back there in that 12th position. Starting in the 13th spot in the Mountain Dew Baja Blast number 11 ride, that is Kevin Calkins. To his outside, our back-to-back champion here in the series, that beautiful number 6 ride, the NJBDesigns.com ride, that is Mr. Brian Underwood, who will start in the 14th spot. Our Season 2 champion here at the Premium Stock Car Racing League, the Rubbered Up Productions number 5 ride of Josh Crider, will start back in the 5th 18th position. To his outside in the Mountain Dew, number 31. That is Brandon Holder. Starting at 17th is the 66 of Ben Gleason. To his outside will be the one ride of Dustin Sleitler. Sleitler will start back there in the 18th position. Jordan Crider will start there in 19th. To his outside will be the 27 of Nathan Brookover, and bringing up the rear of the field in the Team No Luck Motorsports Ford Mustang, that is the 87 of Chris Getz, who will bring up the back of the pack in the 21st position. So 21 drivers getting ready to duke it out for 80 laps here this evening. And this is a crazy paint scheme on that Hoonigan Racing number 10 ride, man. It's been trippy. It's been playing with my mind here. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it looks like that back bumper is like shaking or something. It's looking funky. It's playing something with my eyes. That is for certain. It is definitely looking wild. I keep thinking my graphics are blowing up or something, but it's just, I think, my eyesight on that car, because it is absolutely wild. The zebra looking weird TikTok painted race car is playing with my mind here, and it looks good, it looks fresh, but man, it is gonna be fun to see what it can do. Well, it's up to full song and bird, as that's what we're gonna get ready to see here in just a few more seconds. Is down and into the tri-oval, and exiting the tri-oval, we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here from Talladega Super Speedway, as Ryan Stevenson will lead us down in through corner number 1, nice and easy, down and out of corner number 2 for that number 10 right inside lane. Gets that good jump, gets a good launch here. They were able to lead us down the back straightaways to see the 72 ride of Gaston just not moving forward as quickly as he would hope to, and unfortunately it slid back a little bit, but finally started to build up that draft, starting to get a little bit of help here onto his back bumper as the 97 and 99 start to launch him forward as he's looking to try to get back to the outside of our pole sitter, that 10 machine of Ryan Stevenson. Stevenson, though, hoping to keep himself out in front, wanting to lead lap number 1. Is look out, the 99 of Wilder getting a little bit loose right there. Things are about to get a little bit wild here on our opening lap of the evening, as that 10 ride of Ryan Stevenson will lead the first lap here today. So Stevenson out in front. It's all dog racing teammates, the 79 and the 72 there, door to door, as Danny White and Gaston battling out here. Unfortunately for Gaston, when Wilder kind of ran into that issue, he kind of lost all of his help here, especially when the 97 of Stoney Benfield jumped down to the inside and kind of left him high and dry. And unfortunately for the 72 of Gaston, he keeps moving back. Is now look out. Now we see the 75 down and on the apron. Oh baby, things are getting wild here this evening. Luckily enough, there is the second group. If he can try to get some speed here, if he can try to line up with them here, trying to keep himself kind of in some of a draft here in this one, is exactly what he's going to need. But he's going to hope that he can catch on to the back end of that 27 ride. Unfortunately, it looks like he may be a little too far back, and that may really hurt his opportunities here this evening as one of our final playoff drivers to solidify their playoff drive here this year. As the 75 ride moves backwards, we do see Dustin Sleitler and the 31 of Brandon Holder. Holder was another latecomer to the season, had some very, very strong performances, got a win. He got his way into these playoffs, and for the 31 and for the 75, they're back here deeper in the field, and unfortunately, you know, it's early on. They don't really have to worry too much about going a lap down before the end of stage number 1, but they could be giving up a bunch of good stage points to the drivers in front of them that are a part of our playoffs. But with how this racing has been towards the front, maybe it's not a bad idea to kind of just hang back, keep yourself out of trouble, keep yourself away from all the craziness that can unfold in front of you. We see a big wreck. We see a bunch of drivers get tore up and tied up in it. It opens up the door for you to move forward, but it also could tag a lot of our, a lot of our playoff drivers into it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see which playoff drivers run into issues. We do see one driver kind of bounce out of the line right there. I believe that's the 47 machine of William Elmore. Elmore, unfortunately, getting a little bit loose there, down and out of corner number 2. And from the 47, got down onto the apron a couple of times. That really made for some nervous times for a bunch of these drivers. Looking up, everyone able to keep going the right direction. Everyone keeps on battling, but now for the 47 ride, he's into that same boat we saw for the 75 earlier in this run, as now he's kind of a sit and duck right here, kind of just falling back. He's got no draft in front of him. He's got really no draft right through his back bumper, and unfortunately, he's going to see himself fall back here to this second grouping, as that's where we see Jordan Crider, Chris Gatzbank, Gleason, Nathan Brookover's back here, Josh Ryder's back here as well. So a bunch of our playoff drivers are still kind of just hanging out back here, wanting to try to keep themselves out of the carnage that could unfold up towards the front of the field. But if you take that gamble, you take that risk, maybe you pick up a big stage win and give yourself a ton of extra points over top of the rest of the playoff drivers. That could be a make or break between advancing into the next round of the playoffs or being eliminated. So you got to get everything you can, every single stage. And for right now, Farrell Robbins out in front has Gaston right there with them. Shane Wyatt, one of the new drivers here for the series, the 23 machine, sits there in third as he's got Danny White and Melvin Brenger back there behind him. The 11 of Kevin Calkins there in 6th with Wyatt Youngblood back in 7th. Ryan Stevenson, unfortunately, in that beautiful Hoonigan Racing ride, slides all the way back into about the 8th position as Shaw Wilder on his back bumper with Stoney Benfield, Brandon Dayhuff, Brian Underwood back there in that 12th position. Now, Underwood is at the tail end of this lead pack. Unfortunately, there's about 4.7, almost 5 seconds between himself and the 33 of Jordan Crider, as Crider sits back in that 13th position, but they are a whole lot safer if there's some craziness that unfolds. They could be potentially far enough back that they don't drive into it, they don't get any damage, and they get to keep on battling here this evening as they go 3 wide here at the front. You do see a big move out of that 10 ride of Ryan Stevenson to go 3 wide. Leaves that number 76 kind of just high and dry there, but it kills a ton of that momentum for that outside lane. Unfortunately, the outside lane just falling farther and farther back. They may have to get some more drivers into that group, into that battle, to try to give them an opportunity to get back into this fight. You do see the 6th ride of Brian Underwood. Underwood goes to the outside here, but I'm not sure how long he's going to sit there. I'm sure he may fall back in line, but he's trying to find something, hoping that maybe one of these other drivers jumps to the line with him, goes with him here. He's just trying to gain this one extra spot, trying to move in front of the 18 ride of Wyatt Youngblood. His Youngblood sticking right there with him, but here comes that 76 ride of Farrell Robbins. Robbins will give a bit of an extra edge, a little bit of extra something here to that 6th ride, but I was going to say that inside round is just going to be too strong. The 18 ride will be able to hold him off, and for the 6 of Mr. Underwood, he will fall back into position number 7 here, and he'll just kind of hang out right here for a second. Maybe not. He already looks right back to the outside, hoping to take this run again to the outside of Youngblood, hoping to find his way a little closer to the front of the field here. No takers, no one's going with him, so it looks like he may be the lone driver again in that second groove, just trying to find his way up towards the front, as I know our back-to-back champion, that 6th ride of Underwood, man. He knows how to get it done, and he knows that some of these plate races, as much as they can be a downfall for a lot of playoff drivers, you can get eliminated early. You can have a bad run here and virtually take yourself out of any opportunities to advance into the next round of the playoffs. But for the 6th, he knows that this could also be a blessing. This could be a big drive to work himself up here, gain some big bonus points, early stage points, to put himself into a better position later in this race. Whether or not he does get tied up in a big wreck, he can still have those points to fall back on, save some of his luck for another day, or potentially just get a good finish and a good run, and you still have all those stage points, which turns a mediocre day into a really good day. Him trying to keep that championship lead after playoffs got on the way, man. This is our first playoff race. He's already out in front throughout wins and winning stages and everything else in the season. For the 6th machine, he came in here a little bit above everybody else, and he's been feeling pretty confident, man. That 6th machine, when he's feeling confident, when he's feeling racy, he's tough to beat. For all these other drivers, that may be tough to see, as he's looking to win his 3rd championship in a row. And for Brian Underwood, what that would mean to him, man, would be absolutely insane. 3 championships in a row. That is is absolutely crazy. As out in front, it's Jonathan Gaston. Gaston doing a fantastic job here. He's got that beautiful Scott Bloomquist paint scheme back out of retirement, back onto the 72, and he's looking fresh out there on the Speedway as well, as he's looking to try to keep himself here in front of Shane Wyatt, trying to put himself into victory lane here this evening, or at least trying to earn some stage points here in 2 days. Wyatt's going to stay right there with him. Danny White back in third. Now we do see Danny White looks to make the move to the outside here. So Danny White jumps to the outside. Melvin Breckbrewer is going to go with them. They get a great run and a great drive right there, and that will allow them to clear the 72 and that number 18 ride. So unfortunately for Gaston, he all of a sudden falls back into position number 5 on the Speedway. So for Gaston, he slides from the race lead back to 5th. Shane Wyatt now sits in 6th, and still sitting back in 7th is Brian Underwood. But you see our top 7 has separated themselves quite a bit here from the rest of the pack. It's about 1.6 seconds back to this 76 ride of Farrell Robbins. As where he's going to get passes, there goes the 10 machine of Ryan Stevenson, the 97 of Stoney Benfield, Brandon Day-Up, and the 99 of Sean Wilder here. They're trying to get this second group kind of rolling, trying to get some extra gear, some extra speed, see if they can rejoin this battle at the front of the pack. Is down across the line. They will complete lap number 11. So 11 laps already done here this evening. These drivers are clicking them off in a quick hurry. And the end of stage number 1 is just around the corner for each and every one of these competitors. Now the big question could be, will fuel become a problem? Will fuel be an issue? And will we need to see these drivers make their way down pit side and making a green flag pit stop before the end of stage number 1 here this evening? That could be a big question mark for a lot of these cats on whether or not they can make it, if they can put themselves into that situation to, you know, maybe run the car dry, still make it down pit side and pit during that stage break and earn all these bonus points that they've been looking for. It's going to come right down to the wire. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see how this actually does kind of get played out, because I have a sneaky suspicion there may be some drivers that are trying to stretch the fuel. Other drivers that are here towards the front are not worried about the fuel at all. So let's wait and see if they can get there. As Ryan Underwood, you know, he's looking good. Ben Gleason, he's a little farther back there. You know, you look back at Danny White, who's sitting at the front of the pack right now. Danny being one of our playoff drivers to try to win this stage. What that would mean to him, or Melvin Breckbrewer, who's back there in second. So for some of our playoff competitors, they're still here in this league group. They're in line to earn some big points here in this first stage of the season. So Danny White, Melvin Breckbrewer, you look back at Jonathan Gaston, Brian Underwood. They're sitting pretty right now out there on the Speedway, and I do believe they're the only 4 that are inside of our playoffs that are in line to earn some stage points here this evening. So whether or not you finish in 7th, like where Brian Underwood is, or if you finish first here, nonetheless, it's a major points, a major bonus points to your day that helps you kind of get the edge over the rest of your competitors, hoping to try to work yourself farther away from the rest of the field, away from that cut line, and put yourself into the A-OK situations next week for our first elimination race. As this series, you know, it's not 3 races until elimination races. We do 1 race where it's you know, it's a non-elimination race, and then our next race we jump right into it. So here at Talladega, you know, it's all about earning points, trying to put yourself into a good position. Next week on the 25th, when we head to Homestead Miami Speedway, that is our first elimination race of the season. So that's the first evening night. That is the first time that we will see some of these drivers deal with that adversity, deal with some of the troubles of, you know, maybe not making it into the next round. And now they're going to have to handle themselves knowing that, you know, their chances have run dry and that they will not be able to continue in these playoffs. And then we head to Watkins Glen, which is a big wild card here for a lot of these drivers. That's going to be one that's going to be very interesting. It's another Talladega virtually, where it's kind of a wild card race. It's really anybody's game, and I think that second round is going to be very telling on who is going to be some of our playoff competitors here for that championship, because it's going to be a tough one, man. Watkins Glen in that elimination race at Rockingham. Rockingham can be very, very treacherous. We do see a bunch of drivers head down pit side, so a bunch of cats head down pit road, including Kevin Watkins, Wyatt Youngblood, Shane Wyatt, Ryan Stevenson, Stoney Benfield, Brandon Dayhuff. We saw Sean Wilder and Farrell Robbins all come down pit side. Now, we did see Brandon Holder, Michael Ware, Dustin Sleitler all come down pit road the lap beforehand, so they have made their pit stops. And when you look back at our race leaders now, they're not too far away from putting them a lap down, but I'm assuming we're going to have to see Danny White, Brian Brewer, Gaston, all these guys still come back down pit road here in this one. But it's the second group that I'm more interested in now, because the 33 of Jordan Crider, Chris Getz, Ben Gleason, William Elmore, Nathan Brookover, they've been saving a ton here, but I do believe they're still coming down pit road as our race leaders hit pit side, so don't they. So Danny White, Gaston, Underwood, Brent Brewer all come down pit road, and Jordan Crider, Gleason, Getz, Josh Crider, William Elmore, and Mr. Nathan Brookover all head down pit road. So they make it a lap longer. You do see the 33 misses pit stall right there. Had to back it up as everyone trying to get enough fuel into their rides. They're getting ready to roll back out onto the speedway. We'll have to see where everyone gets lined back up here, where everything kind of cycles through, where drivers end up, and if somebody can leapfrog themselves out in front, maybe win this stage here this evening. We look back at the 23 of Shane Wyatt. Wyatt with a quick pit stop. And for the 23 ride, he is rolling here. He's trying to work his way to the point. He's around our third place driver, Melvin Brenger, but he is going to see Danny White and Brian Underwood both get out in front of him. But he does have a little bit of extra speed, a little bit of extra momentum. But as of right now, it is pretty wide open here towards the front. Take a look back at Gaston. He's got Josh Crider now to his back bumper. There's the 18 machine of Wyatt Youngblood right there as well. Kevin Calkins a little farther back from them. That's where we see Ryan Stevenson and Stoney Benfield there together, rounding out our top 10 on the Speedway. So good for Crider to work his way up and into the action, but Josh Crider has to come back down pit road. Heartbreaker here for the 5 ride. So Josh Crider has to end up making an additional pit stop here. Let's see if we can go back and see when we saw Crider come down pit side. Did he miss his pit stall? What happened here to this 5 ride? Because he was down in through the pits in a quick hurry. And it looks like potentially, yeah, he gets in there. Looks like maybe he misses his pit stall. Maybe he doesn't get enough fuel into it. I'm not sure what happened, but unfortunately for the 5 ride, has to make an additional pit stop, and that's going to leave Danny White, Brian Underwood out in front here. They've got the 23 of Shane Wyatt right there with them. It's a 3-car pack. They got about 3.5 seconds back until we see this 18 ride, and unfortunately for Youngblood, Gaston, and Brent Brewer, they're quite a ways back here, and unfortunately still being a 2-car, almost a 3-car pack. They're really not going to gain anything. They're not going to gain track time. They're not going to gain any major advantage here to try to hunt down these top 3 performers. And even now, with 2 laps left to go in this stage, if the caution flag were to fly, this stage would end under yellow. So it's a battle really, truly between Danny White, Brian Underwood, and Shane Wyatt for the first stage win in our playoffs here this year. So can Danny White potentially steal the stage win? Does Brian Underwood battle hard for it, knowing how valuable and how important those stage wins are, especially if he wants to continue trying to battle for his 3rd championship in a row? Or does he just take it easy here? Maybe gives up that stage win, stays with the 79 ride, knowing that if he doesn't make a big move, if he doesn't put himself into a tough position, that he can't get any damage and he can continue battling here throughout the race and just take the 9 points that come with the 2nd place run in the stage, and know that you know, he can probably get another good run in and be able to survive until next week without really having to worry about points or anything else, or worry until the next stage or the next portion of our playoffs get started. So for right now, some of our playoff drivers looking really, really good when it comes to Danny White and Brian Underwood sitting first and second out there on the Speedway. For Gaston being back in fifth here, Gaston's definitely going to want to try to earn an extra stage point or two. Same with Melvin Brengruer. And then I do believe that is it for playoff drivers inside the top 10. Our next closest playoff competitor, I do believe, is the 27 ride of Nathan Brookover. Brookover's back here in the 12th position. Harold Robbins there in 13th. They're going to be having to look for some extra points here and try to work themselves into, maybe some stage points here in this one. But it looks like the stage is going to come to a close, and it's Danny White who picks up the stage win. So Danny White stays in front of Brian Underwood. Underwood stays right there behind him. Both drivers going to be very, very happy with their performances here in that first stage, knowing that they were able to gain some massive stage points here on the day to really help put themselves into a great position here this season. So for Danny White winning that stage win and putting himself into a good spot after the first stage of the day, we'll have to wait and see if he can try to recreate that here in stage two. Brian Underwood there in second. Shane Wyatt, newcomer, and Wyatt Youngblood, two new drivers, come home third and fourth, with Gaston back in fifth. Brengruer there in sixth. Ryan Stevenson, Stoney Benfield, Brandon Dayhoff back in position number 9, and Kevin Calkins will round out our top 10 here in the first stage of the evening. Wilder back at 11 with Brookover, Farrell Robbins, Ben Gleason there in 14th, Jordan Crider back in 15th, Brandon Holder, Chris Gentz, Dustin Sleitler, Michael Ware there in 19th, William Elmore back in 20th, and Josh Crider back in 21st at the tail end of the field after having to make that additional pit stop. But for the fine Ryder Crider, now he's got to make some gambles. He's got to make up some time. He's got to be maybe a little bit more aggressive here in this second stage. He knows, and a lot of these other playoff drivers, they know that, they just gave up a ton of points, a ton of valuable points that could make or break their season here in the first leg of our championship. So when you look back at Crider, you look back at Michael Ware, Chris Getz, a lot of these guys are going to need some big points here. Brandon Holder's right there in it. You look back at Jordan Crider, Ben Gleason, Nathan Brookover, a lot of our playoff drivers all missing out on stage points here, and those could be the points that they desperately need to lock themselves into the next round of our playoffs here this year. So we'll get them all stacked up, we'll get them all racked up, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one, as each driver going to try to put themselves into that good position, trying to put themselves into a spot that they can really just take advantage of some good hard racing, and hope that maybe they can earn back a bunch of these stage points here in stage number 2, or later in the race, if they can avoid some big wrecks here, if they can avoid putting themselves into tough positions, as everybody is going to head down pit side. Now this is going to be a very, very interesting set of pit stops, because our second stage ends at the completion of lap number 40 here this evening. They're about to complete lap number 22, so instead of this being really a 20 lap race to the green and white checkered flag, a 20-lap feature there, basically from the start of this race to the end of stage number 1. This is more like 18 laps, since they are getting fuel, plus they're going to have a caution lap or two that they get to kind of sit back, relax, and put themselves into a good position here in this one, as they're going to get ready to keep on battling, as we do have Mr. Crider here in the booth with us. Josh, what's good, brother?
Hey, I didn't get to post in the chat the Dash for Cash drivers for tonight, so I want to hop in here while we were under caution. There's $90 on the line tonight. Myself, Nathan Brookover, Ryan Stevenson, William Elmore, Jonathan Gaston, Farrell Robbins, Chris Getz, Ben Gleason, Brandon Holder, Danny White, Shane Wyatt, Sean Wilder, and Jordan Crider are all running for the $90. And thank you to Ben Gleason for giving a bonus, and the Rollin Wieners Dash for Cash is running strong tonight. So I just wanted to hop in here and say that, and say hi to everybody that's watching, and hopefully we put on a good show for you the rest of the night.
Beauty, brother. Well, we look forward to it. We look forward to seeing how the rest of this race plays out for these guys and yourself. As a tough break there at the start this one off, man. But this is going to be fun to see how Crider and all these other drivers are going to be able to try to battle back here in this one. As yes, the Talladega Dash for Cash here this evening, brought to you by the Rollin Wieners. Shown it there to the Rollin Wieners as the Dash for Cash host here this season. And yeah, as you said, we got Josh Crider, Brookover, Stevenson, Elmore, Gaston, Robbins, Chris Gatz, Ben Gleason himself putting in an extra $25 or $30 into the pot here as well to make it that much bigger, that much better. And then mostly Brandon Holder, Danny White, Shane Wyatt, Sean Wilder, Jordan Crider, all hoping to try to earn that extra bit of money here this evening. Try to put that extra dough into their back pocket, knowing that you know, $90. I mean, hey, $90 is $90, man. That's a good payday for any one of these drivers that can hop out there and put themselves into victory lane. And for Danny White, that's going to give him a lot of confidence. Obviously, being able to win that stage. Win a stage, you can win a race, so that could make things that much more interesting here this evening. And for the drivers that were hanging out a little deeper in the field, maybe now it's starting to make a little bit more sense. We do see drivers making additional pit stops here. A lot of extra drivers coming back down pit road, including Brandon Holder, Brookover, Josh Crider, Jordan Crider, Chris Getz, Ben Gleason, Michael Ware, Brian Underwood, giving up a lot of track position to come down pit side. We do see Dustin Sleitler also down pit road here as well. He's trying to get extra fuel into his car. Not sure if he's rolling out. There we go. There he is. He's able to get it back into gear, keep it rolling here. But a lot of our playoff drivers right there just came back down pit side. They put in that extra little bit of fuel. They got that extra lap. That could be a difference maker, now being only a 17-lap run here and still running basically another lap under yellow. Maybe it's about to be a 16-lap run, and that's where we saw a lot of drivers starting to come down pit road during that first stage. Was somewhere around that lap 15, lap 16 area. So if you can stretch it, if you can make it that much farther, potentially they're going to be good on fuel, and they won't have to really worry or stress about fuel here in this stage, and they can just run their race, get to the front, and battle here potentially for the stage win. So for drivers like Danny White, Ben Gleason, Melvin Brenger here at the front of the field, they may have to worry a little bit more, because if they've got to make an additional green flag pit stop here, that could be a lot of valuable stage points that they're going to throw out the window. As here we go, getting them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to battle. As the 79 of Danny White has the race lead, he has control, and he is ready to go back to battle here this evening from Talladega Super Speedway, as 24 laps will be completed, 16 laps left to go here in stage number 2. I mean, we got 56 laps left here in this feature event. There is still a ton of great racing action in front of us, man. Still a lot of battling, still a lot of back and forth and duking it out here this evening for each and every one of these guys to try and put themselves up and into victory lane, and to potentially not only be our first winner in the playoffs, but also trying to earn maybe some of that Dash for Cash money, that extra $90 into their back pocket. As Gaston gets a great launch, great restart right there, and he's able to jump down in front of his teammate there. The Old Dogs Racing rides now lined up 1 and 2 down the bottom side of the speedways. You do see Shane Wyatt trying to get that outside lane rolling as the Sim Wrap Market number 23 ride rolls there in that third position. He's got Benfield right there behind him as the North Carolina 811.org, the call before you dig ride. The 97 sits there in about that 5th position. Now going to slide back to 6 as he's going to jump down low in behind that 10 rider, Ryan Stevenson. We saw Stevenson qualify in that pole position, led a lap or two there early in this race, and then fell back throughout that feature event. Unfortunately, that first stage did not go too well for the 10 ride, but he's still in one piece, still battling and looking to try to rinse his way back and towards the front here. As you see Sonny Benfield right there behind him, Wilder, Wyatt now follow back a little farther here. He's got Brandon Day up right there with him, so Day up in the 27 of Nathan Brookover. You see Josh Crider in there. They're trying to get rolling here to the front. They want to trying to keep moving forward, trying to pick up some extra spots here. Now you see the 5 right, almost split in the middle. I don't know if he's just trying to get some extra air under the nose of that beautiful Lonnie Crider, rubbered up Productions number 5 right or not, but he's going to stick with these guys, stay in that high lane. There really wasn't an opening down low as he's got Kevin Calkins out to his inside. The 18 right of Wyatt Youngblood falls back there behind him as now here comes the 75 of Michael Ware, Dustin Sleitler, Farrell Robbins a little farther back here, same with William Elmore. Brandon Holder, he's sticking back here. Looks like he's just going to hang out a little deeper right in his back right now. Seeing the 6 right of Brian Underwood, Jordan Crider, and Chris Getz. Ben Gleason also back here. So a bunch of our playoff drivers still just kind of hanging out a little deeper in the field. I'm not sure if they're trying to save some fuel, maybe use that draft, try to save a little bit of gas and hope that in turn later in this run that they won't have to make that additional pit stop here this evening. So I think that's their game plan here in this second stage of the day as Jonathan Gaston continues to lead the way. Danny White right there on his back bumper with Branger, 3 of our playoff drivers here at the front of the field. You see that second line still trying to get formed, still trying to get rolling here. They just really haven't had much luck getting anything kind of built up, and every time they seem to gain a driver or two, they jump down low and leave them a little bit more high and dry. As now you do see Josh Crider, he'll try that outside lane. He's hoping to find a couple extra positions, but you find out here in a quick hurry that there's not a whole lot of help coming to his back bumper. Finally finds Stevenson out there on the racetrack, but he does lose a couple spots there on the Speedway, but he's hoping that he can gain them all back. But now you see the 97. Oh, the 97 is Stoney Benfield. He jumps down low. That's another car out of the outside lane. That's going to hurt their progress here, and unfortunately they may fall back a little bit farther as you see the 10 right. I thought for certain we were going to see that 10 potentially jump down into that hole in between Sleitler and the 97, but he's going to stick with it, stay there with that 5 right of Josh Crider and continue to try to push this numbered up Productions ride towards the front of the field. He knows that he's a Season 2 champion, so another back car to follow right there on the racetrack because Crider can definitely get it done here this evening, and he's trying to earn himself some good stage points here in the second stage, but it is going to be a fight right down to that start-finish line here in this one as Gaston continues to hold down the top spot here, not looking to back down, not wanting to give up an inch out there on the Speedway as these drivers continue to just do a fantastic job here. Only the 1 caution flag, and that was for obviously the stage break. So really we've been clean and green here for about almost 30 laps of racing action here this evening. We had a few yellow flag laps after that stage break, but really it's been nothing but just good hard fun racing here this evening, and these drivers continue to do a fantastic job. Whether it's a big group or green flag pit stops or anything else, they've been just hanging on to these things, man, and really putting together a really well-run race here this evening. So you see Stevenson still trying to hold on to a top 10 here. He's got Stoney Benfield down to his inside. The 71 of Brandon Day up there on the outside. Those they did a pretty good run on the ends of core number 2 now for a lot of these drivers that are in that outside lane. In the corners, they're probably going to lose quite a bit of time to that inside lane just because it's the shortest way around the racetrack. On the straightaways, they should gain a lot of that time back up because they can carry a little bit more speed, a little bit more momentum through that middle side of the racetrack. So we'll have to wait and see if one of them starts to edge forward, if one of them starts to find that extra little bit of gear. I think for the outside lane, they probably still need another car or two to potentially join them to really try to help them out, help them get that line moving a little bit better and try to race their way towards our race leaders here in this second stage of the evening. See Sleitler down low, Brookover's down there now. Michael Ware, he's trying to help him out, but unfortunately the 71 and the 75 continue to fall farther and farther back off Ryan Stevenson's back bumper here, and that's just going to slow down that outside lane even more when they get more broken apart, more dirty air in between them as Farrell Robbins back in 15th. William Elmore, Brandon Holder here as well back in 17th. Now for Holder, in the second group. They have fallen quite a bit farther back there. They are about 2 seconds back of that lead pack here, with Elmore being the last car in this lead pack. You see Brandon Holder, you see Jordan Crider, Chris Getz, Ben Gleason, Brian Underwood. They're all back here in that 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st position at the rear of the field, and it looks like they're just trying to play it safe here, trying to keep themselves far enough back that if there is carnage, if there is mayhem that unfolds up here higher towards the front of the field, that they can avoid it, keep their cars out of trouble, and put themselves into a position that they can just have a good solid run here to finish off this race and not have to use that quick repair up this early in the feature event. Try to save that for the closing laps in case if they do get into some mayhem, if they do get tied up in some carnage, if they still have it in their back pocket that they can use it later. But you do see Crider now really start to fall back here, as we did see the 10 ride of Stevenson. He jumped down low, same with the 71 a day off, and now you see the 5 ride of Josh Crider having to fall back in the line here as the 5 ride will fall back into about the 12th position for 75 of Michael Ware. Michael's still trying to get something going here on the outside lane. He still wants to find that extra little bit here. He wants to move forward. Unfortunately, he is just kind of at a standstill here. No drafting help in front of him, no drafting help behind him. He's just going to lose a lot of time here, especially on these straightaways. There you go. You see that inside lane just low right on by him. Now here comes the 76 ride of Farrell Robbins down low underneath of him. Robbins is going to look to try to get by him here as well. And for the 75 ride of Michael Ware, just seems like he's struggling. Just doesn't seem like he can get down to that inside lane. He's been kind of just stuck here, rolling that middle groove, and unfortunately he's been hurting his chances here this evening, but he will finally fall back in behind the 76 of Farrell Robbins here this evening. But out in front, it's all Jonathan Gaston. As Gaston continues to lead the way, he's gassing it up, and he's continuing to show these drivers to get it done here in this one, as Gaston nice and easy down and out of corner number 4. You'll take us back down into the Talladega Super Speedway Tri-Oval here this evening, back down and across the line. Here in this one is the 72 of Gaston. We'll click off lap number 34. That means we only got 6 more laps left to go. We're in this stage. 6 more laps until we hand out more bonus points for these drivers, especially for our playoff drivers. Those bonus points go a long, long way in potentially trying to lock yourself into the next round of these playoffs. We do see, obviously, our top 3 with Gaston, White, and Brenger, all 3 playoff drivers sitting there at the front of the field, but we don't see another playoff competitor, I do believe, until we get back to Josh Crider here in that 5 ride. Him and Nathan Brookover, they're trying to battle their way through this top 10, hoping to earn some extra stage points and trying to put themselves into a position that if they get tied up in a big wreck later in this race, later in the run, that they can try to at least have those extra points in their back pocket. That may really help them out here in this one. But look out, now there's contact. Look out, down low, caution flag is out. Yellow flag is displayed, as we did see Brandon Dayoff and the 5 rider Josh Crider get tied together right there. Unfortunately, that will bring out the yellow flag. You do see some good damage on the front end of this 5 ride, as it's Dustin Sleitler right here in the 1 ride. So Sleitler kind of gets stacked up right here. So it gets stacked up. Everyone's pushing. The 18 ride kind of rolls out of it for the 1 ride. He falls back, and now you see the 5 ride gets into him. They all kind of get stacked up, and it pushed the 1 ride up and into the middle of the racetrack. The 5 of Crider stays against that white or the yellow lines here. The 1 unfortunately gets loose again, washes back up. The 5 ride back to his outside. Now he's going to stay above that double yellow line for the 1 machine. He's just trying to hang on to it here, and unfortunately, as he moves up to give room to the 5 ride, he moves up too far, ends up clipping the 71 right here. I don't know if it's just the air off the 71, but nonetheless, right there, that's the contact, and that's where we see Dayoff and the 5 ride get tied together. 5 keeps on going for Dayoff. He gets turned around. He goes for a couple loop-de-loops. Luckily enough, not any major damage there to the 71 ride. Looked like some pretty minor damage for the 5 of Josh Crider. So let's take another look back at it. Was it just the air of the 71 kind of moving around this number 1 machine. So here he comes. You see them down low. They're almost making contact. One kind of comes up, and maybe it's just neck code. Oh, no, there is a little contact right there. That little bit of contact, that's all it needed to really knock this 71 ride loose, and they get tied together again, and that's where we see Dayhuff go down the racetrack into the lap there of Josh Crider, and unfortunately for Crider, does end up with some pretty good front-end damage here, and yeah, you see that damage right there on that right-hand side. Unfortunately for the Season 2 champion, he's going to have to try to deal with that damage and hope that the crew can get it repaired and back out there onto the Speedway and not in any major peril here this evening, as we'll get them all loaded up and ready to keep on battling, keep on duking it out here. Is this going to make a short run to the end of the stage? Now's the big question mark. You give up stage points to come down pit side and get fuel, try to have control of this race for later in the run. For some of these drivers, they may have needed fuel no matter what. So for Gaston, looks like pretty much everybody's coming down pit road right here. Now a lot of drivers not coming down pit side, and it does look like, yeah, everybody's going to hit pit road here. No one's going to stay out. Everyone comes down pit side. They all know now that they're good on fuel. They're good to go. So the last lap or two of this stage could get very, very crazy in a quick hurry. See the 10 ride right there. Ryan Stevenson blows it through his pit stall, has to throw it in reverse for the crew to go to work here. So any track position he was looking to gain, he's going to give it up right there with that mistake, as it will be Gaston who hangs on to the race lead. Danny White comes out in second. Shane Wyatt, Melvin Brengro, Sean Wilder, Kevin Calkins, William Elmore, Wyatt Youngblood, Dustin Sleitler, and Farrell Robbins going to round out our top 10. But now this is where things can get very, very interesting, get very hairy and scary in a very quick hurry here, as this may be a one-lap shootout. End stage number 2, a one-lap shootout to duke it out here in this one, and this could get very, very fun in a quick hurry. Don't go anywhere, as we're going to be right back in just a quick second. I'm going to get a quick drink, and then we're going to get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here in this one.
Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt, raw and real. Track's a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night.
Alrighties, we're going to get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here from Talladega Super Speedway. Now we should take the green flag here, completing 39 laps here in this race. Now, I'm not sure if we are going to see the stage come to a close here, if they may have closed that stage there during the last caution. So they may have used the last yellow flag as the stage break here this evening. So I do believe with that potentially being the end of this stage, we'll have to wait and see If it was the end of the stage, I do believe right now our top 4 stays the same, with the 72 of Mr. Gaston winning that stage right there. Danny White will come home in second, so great stage day for Danny White. Shane Wyatt and Melvin Brenger should be our top 4 here this evening. After that, it gets a little bit more sporadic, but for most of these drivers, a big opportunity right here if that wasn't the stage. If you're any of these drivers that were deeper in the pack, if you were trying to save fuel, when you look back at, the 6th ride of Brian Underwood or Brandon Holder, some of these other drivers that look to be potentially out of earning stage points here in this one, maybe they take this one lap, take their chances, run to the front here, hope that they can try to win this stage or give themselves some good stage points and get that extra little bit of an edge over the rest of your playoff drivers here this evening. We'll have to wait and see if that's the call after the completion of this, what could be a one-lap shootout here this evening, as the 72 of Gaston will get ready to see the green flag flying. There it is, green flag back out into the air for the 72. Gaston's going to move up here. He's going to jump into that second line. He's going to fall in front of his teammate here, 79 machine of Danny White. White's getting a great shove from the 19 ride of Melvin Brenger. He is pushing that 79 right to the back bumper here of this number 72 ride, but all of a sudden you take a look down low. Here comes Shane Wyatt. Wyatt's getting a great shove from the 99 of Sean Wilder. Wilder's trying to get this 23 to the point here as they continue to battle down the back straightaway. Here comes Dustin Slightler's right there in the mix. Here comes the 31 right of Brandon Holder. He's trying to jump up there, trying to earn some points here this evening. Same with Brian Underwood back into the mix as well, as here they come down and through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. It's going to be a drag race back down the start-finish line, and it's the Old Dogs Racing team that's hit 1 and 2 is down and across the line, completing lap number 40. It is going to be Danny White. Danny White out in front here. So Danny with a big run. He does lead us there at the halfway marker. Now I do believe they are going to use the previous caution flag as the stage break. So they are not going to throw the caution flag here. We're going to keep it clean and green. We're going to keep on battling. So that is the end of our stages here this evening. That's good to know, good to see here, as that's going to make things that much more interesting for all these drivers, knowing that they need to earn some stage points. And for a lot of these drivers, those stage points may have just kind of went out the window. If you're one of these other drivers, says, I do believe, yeah, it's going to be the 72 of Gaston, the 79 of Danny White, the 19 of Mr. Brenger will come home in third. The 23 of Shane Wyatt will be fourth in the second stage, with the 11 of Kevin Calkins, the 99 of Sean Wilder. I believe then you see the 10 ride. That is the 10 machine of Ryan Stevenson, the 18, the 97. I do believe that should pretty much round out our stage number 2 here this evening. But out on the racetrack, the stages have come to a close, and that means it's unlike Donkey Kong. It's now time to shine here at Talladega Super Speedway. No more stage points, no restackums unless we get some caution flags. If we stay clean and green, you just got to give it everything you got to try and put yourself up here into a winning situation in the next, 40 laps of racing action. As Danny White, Shane Wyatt 1 and 2 on the Speedway. Sean Wilder sits there in third. The 18 of Wyatt Youngblood rolls there in position number 4 with our back-to-back champion Brian Underwood right there in 5th. Kevin Calkins back in 6th, with Gaston falling all the way back now into 7th. He's got Farrell Robbins and Melvin Brenger right there with him. And then we see Brandon Holder back in that 10th position on the Speedway. Then we see Stoney Benfield and Dustin Slightler back there in position number 11 and 12. As here comes the 75 right of Michael Ware. The Sun-Cursed Pride trying to race his way up towards the front. Same with Ben Gleason and Chris Getz as the No Luck Motorsports ride trying to navigate their way back up through the traffic and towards the front of the pack. Here comes the Crider brothers, as here comes Jordan Crider and Josh Crider. They look to keep on moving. Here comes Brooke Over, another one of our playoff drivers back here in 18th. And unfortunately, looks like a few drivers not in the draft right now. We look back here at the number 10 rider, Ryan Stevenson. He was our pole sitter to start this race. As of right now, he does not have that draft. He's not a part of that lead draft out there on the Speedway. You can see the gap between him and that second group, and unfortunately, he's going to fall farther and farther back, and without any caution flags or anything else, potentially it could be the end of the night here for this 10th ride. Same with the 47 of William Elmore, who's right there with him, and then Brandon Dayoff. Dayoff is by himself here. Dayoff, unfortunately, back here in the 71 ride, sits in the 21st position. He is a straightaway back here, and he's going to need some magic and a quick hurry, as we did see a little bit of ruffle and scuffle, and a few drivers end up with some major damage here. Let's play this back and take a look. So there was some action. You see the 66 is missing a bumper. What in the world happened here? So Chris Getz and Ben Gleason, teammates, trying to work their way to the front, and it looks like, oh, just some bad pushes right there to their inside, and unfortunately Ben Gleason ends up getting the worst of it. So watch the one machine here of Sleitler. So Dustin Sleitler is on the back bumper right here of the 75 ride, giving him a good shot. Now the 27 comes in, gives a bump to the one ride, and that just kind of gets him into the back end of the 75, kind of loses the handle of the car, washes up the racetrack, and as he does, he washes right up and into the 66 of Ben Gleason. Gleason just absolutely nowhere to go, and he gets cleaned out up the track. Heavy damage here for that 66 Ryan. You can see that whole right-hand side just kind of tore to shreds. Tires pointed the wrong way here. Obviously, camber, everything else is broken. Things underneath that car that are moving that are not supposed to be, and unfortunately for the 66 Ryan, he was down pit side, was able to get the lucky dunk, but there goes that lead pack right on around him here. And for the 66 machine, here comes the second pack. He needs to try to get in line with these guys, or else he may fall 2 laps down. You go 2 laps down here, it could potentially put you into a very tough position here in this race. As of right now, another yellow flag for the flying. He's in line to get that lucky dunk, to get back on the lead lap here in this race, which would be a blessing for him, but he needs it to happen sooner rather than later, because Brandon Dayoff is potentially going to be another driver to go a lap down here in a quick hurry. Now we see another driver turned around the 31 right up Brandon Holder. Holder pointing the wrong direction here. Holder, unfortunately, oh, tough break here. Let's take a look back. What happens here to Brandon Holder? So this is in that second group again. This is where things have been falling apart here, and it looks like on corner exit, they just kind of get a little scuffled around in the 79 ride all over his back bumper here. So it's Benfield here in this one. Let's see if we can get another look at it. See this contact. So Benfield is on the back bumper here of the 31 ride, coming out of corner number 2. The cars are usually a little lighter on their feet here, and unfortunately you see the 79 shoot down a little bit too far, maybe to the inside of the 31, and I don't know, they just make contact, still push, and eventually it just turns this 31 right around. He ends up going around and ends up making some pretty solid contact right there into the inside fence. Unfortunately, being far enough down on the racing surface, it unfortunately does not bring a yellow flag out. We keep it clean and green, and for Brandon Holder, he's having to take his car down pit side as well. And for Holder, he now finds himself a lap down here. Now he's got a race of his own. He needs to try to stay in front of this 66 of Ben Gleason. If he can stay in front of Gleason, he could still be in the lucky dunk position. If you're Gleason, you're trying to get in front of this 31, knowing that this could be a huge opportunity for you to you know, either one, find a drafting partner, but you want to be in front of him because you want him to be able to help you. Trying to get towards the front of the field here and put yourself in that lucky dunk position. But out in front, the battle is still brewing here. For the race lead is Gaston back out in front. Jonathan jumps up, takes that race lead back away once again. Brengler right there to his outside. And you see Kevin Conkin trying to make it all as 3 wide right there. Unfortunately for Brengler, couldn't go up the track with him, and they just ran out of room. And now you see the 6 ride of Brian Underwood right there. He'll fill that hole. He'll jump to the back bumper of the 19. He'll keep on pushing here, and as these guys run door to door, they're actually going to be running quite a bit slower than this second group out there on the Speedway, and that should reel these guys in there. It may take them a little while, but slowly but surely they should close that gap, and they should be able to reel in that lead pack. So for Stoney Benfield, Josh Crider, Dustin Sleitler, Chris Getz, 75 of Michael Ware and Nathan Brookover. They desperately need to be able to jump up here, join this lead group, and become part of the battle for this race lead here this evening. As we do see Jordan Crider, unfortunately, looks like Jordan has lost the lead draft here as well. He currently sits about 23, almost 24 seconds back of our race leader. Staying with the 10 of Ryan Stevenson. William Elmore back here as well. Brandon Dayhoff, he's still quite a ways back. He's the next driver to potentially go a lap down. For Brandon Holder and Ben Gleason, they find themselves both one lap down already after running into issues on the speedway, having to make pit stops here. And for the 31 and the 66, they're just working together now, hoping that they can try to find their way back into contention, back into the battle, and hoping that they can get back on the lead lap, knowing that they're two playoff drivers, and having these issues could be detrimental to their season and their ability to potentially make it into the next round of our playoffs here this season. As Brenton Brewer out in front, so Melvin, it's a big push from that 6th rider Brian Underwood, and it looks like the outside lane able to jump down in front of the 72 of Mr. Gaston. So that moves Jonathan back into 4th here with Farrell Robbins there in 5th. Andy One sits in 6th, Sean Wilder and Wyatt Youngblood, the 11 of Kevin Calkins right there as well, as they still got about 1.8 seconds between themselves and Stony Benfield in the second grouping. So still a bit of a gap here, and now that we see this top pack a little bit more single file, a little bit more organized, they may be able to kind of equal things out. They may be able to balance, you know, some of these runs a little bit more and just trying to keep that gap between themselves and our 10th place rider on back here. And unfortunately, last time around, they were quite a bit slower than that lead group. They were quite a bit slower than that lead pack. We'll have to wait and see what they're looking like here on this next time around. It does look like potentially they lost a little bit of ground, half a tenth, maybe a tenth of a second right there that they lost to our race leaders. So they're unfortunately not driving up here and catching these guys, but the more we see them shuffling around, the more we start to see them make these moves. They are going to get there. They are going to join that battle, and it should make for some extra racing here by the end of this feature event. But we still have green flag pit stops on the horizon to potentially worry about here. So for a lot of these drivers, they're trying to hit a number. They want to see somewhere probably around, I'm going to say lap number 58, 59, somewhere in there. Maybe a little bit shy of that. I guess maybe somewhere around lap 57, 56. They're probably going to have to make 2 pit stops in this final run. If we stay clean and green, and I don't have a doubt about that. We saw a bunch of drivers come back down pit road there on lap number 38. Now that would really give them about a 20-lap run, not even 20 laps, to get into the pit lane here again. So probably somewhere around lap 56, 58, we'll see them back down pit side, and again another 20-lap run. I mean, that's lap 78-ish area, so they're going to have to make at least 2 pit stops here during this green flag run. And as of right now, you see the 19 rider Branger or Brian Underwood, Shane White is out in front. They're hooked up here. They're starting to open up a bit of a lead of their own here between himself and Jonathan Gaston, as they're trying to leave the rest of these guys back there behind them, trying to keep a bit of a gap here in a bumper zone between themselves and the rest of these drivers. They come just steamrolling in, and it looks like the 71 rider Brandon Dayhuff is going to go a lap down. So for Dayhuff now being the first car 1 lap down out there on the racetrack, that's a condition you want to try to stay in, as our race leaders won't be too far away from potentially putting William Elmore and Ryan Stevenson, Jordan Crider a lap down here this evening as well. So Melvin Brengroer, he's just trying to keep himself in this battle, man. A lot of our playoff drivers, it is a lot of just trying to survive. Be there at the end. Put yourself into a position that you can try to make some moves later in this race. Now here we go. Oh, look out! Trying to come down pit road was the 11 ride of Kevin Calkins. Calkins was coming down pit road right here. Not sure if there was contact between him and the 71. Oh, we went a little too far right there. Let's see if we can get this going a little bit quicker. So he's going to the outside here of Dayhoff, and then shoots down to the inside. It looks like he just makes the decision late to come down pit road. Unfortunately, coming in way too fast. Has to lock it down. As he does, he just slides through pit lane, and The 71 ride, he was already a lap down. He was coming down pit road, ends up getting a good piece of that 11 ride. And unfortunately now for Kevin Calkins, he'll have to try to get pointed back in the right direction, get this car rolling and fixed up and back out there on the speedway. That is going to kill a lot of time there for him. And we did see Ryan Stevenson also come down pit road. And unfortunately here for Ryan Stevenson, looks like he's going to get a black flag here. Too fast entering pit road for the 10 machine. And unfortunately, he will have to serve a bit of a penalty right there. That is definitely going to hurt him even more this evening. So a lot of big mistakes is now, here we go. Here comes Gaston, Danny White, Farrell Robbins, Wyatt Youngblood also down pit road. As we did see William Elmore down pit side as well here with these guys. He was the next driver to potentially go a lap down out there on the racetrack as all these drivers leaving pit side here. Looks like Wyatt Youngblood able to get out before Gaston, Danny White, Farrell Robbins here, as they're going to try to stay tight together. They need to get packed together in a quick hurry and hope that they can have a great pit stop. As now here we go. We do see a couple more drivers headed down pit side. The 23 ride's got to get checked up here. He cannot get caught speeding down pit road this late in the race. It could be a difference maker. We do see a few drivers getting a little squirrely back there trying to hit pit side, as we did see Sean Wilder there, the one of Dustin Sleitler. It does look like the second group is able to get down pit road, and there it is, Sleitler. We saw him lock it up. We saw him try to get this thing wound down, and unfortunately for the one ride, he does get hit with a pit road speeding penalty. So here he comes into pit lane. Gets in here a little too hot and has to lock it up right there. And unfortunately just too fast onto pit road. And unfortunately that is a black flag for the number one ride. So I do believe he still has that black flag. He's probably going to have to make a pass-through penalty here for the one machine. That is a tough thing right there. So a pass-through penalty potentially for Dustin Sleitler. We'll have to wait and see how that works out for him, as we do see Shane Wyatt come out of the pits with the top spot here. Oh, there's contact. Look out. Now we see Wilder up and into the outside fence. There's the caution flag. Caution flag will fly. 19 rider Brenger gets a piece of him right there after everyone had come down pit road. I'm not sure what was going on here with Sleitler, as the one ride, I'm not sure what's been going on with him here tonight, but he's been a little bit all over the place. He's definitely had a hard time trying to get a handle of this race car, and unfortunately we've seen him make quite a few mistakes out there on the racetrack and just kind of being in the wrong place, wrong time. We see that start right here at too fast entering down pit road. Now he heads down pit side to his pit stall, and I'm not sure if he even hits his pit stall here or not, because he makes a quick trip down pit road here, a lot quicker than everybody else. So he's trying to find his pit stall, gets in here. I'm not sure if he's in it or he's already by it. I think he's already by it. I think he realized that, like, hey, I missed my pit stall here. That's a no bueno. That's a big mistake again for that one ride, and obviously has the black flag to deal with as well. So he gets rolling. The 23 ride was part of our race leaders. He comes out of the pits. He's on the lap pedal. He's getting rolling a little bit quicker than the one ride. So is the 19. They know they got to go. They got to try to win this race and stay out in front. For the one ride, he's just kind of parked in front of the 19. And Brent Brewer, I'm not sure if he just gets a good run right here. We're going to see the one ride kind of get down towards the apron and then comes back up the racetrack here just in front of the 19. And 19-1 contact there. That's what puts the one up and into the fence, and obviously already compounding issues for this number one machine. This is going to be a tough spot for him here in this one. Not sure what was going on here. Brenger, I'm sure Brenger maybe just trying to get a bump to him, trying to get him going here. I figured he thought maybe, okay, he's moving in front of me. We got to get going. We got to get this bump trap rolling, and unfortunately just the spot that he hits him instantly gets this car turned around, and it's just a tough break there for Brenger. Wrong place, wrong time, and obviously not really knowing what the one ride's doing. And then, yep, he just made contact. And that's a big hit right there for the one machine. Unfortunately, he gets tore up. The caution flag will get thrown out. We do see Sleitler parked down pit side here. He's going to be getting that car repaired, plus serving that black flag. So that's a tough break for him here this evening. But for the rest of these drivers, that will give them an extra free trip to come back down pit road. Make sure they get enough fuel into these rides. Make sure that they're all hooked up here. But I still believe they're going to be a little bit short here in this one of fuel to make it to the end, as Bones does this. The number Number 1, unfortunately, had a meltdown. Yeah, I think there's a lot going on right there for the one ride. I think that would definitely cause a couple brain farts for pretty much everybody in the field there. Obviously, a whirlwind of emotions. Obviously, speeding down pit road, then the black flag, and then you get... you miss your pit stall, and you're coming back out. You're with the race leaders. They're trying to get going, and honestly, they're not going to stop for you. They want to keep rolling, get the bump draft going, and they don't know your situation. They don't know what just happened to you. And then obviously the contact into the fence, and now being parked down pit road here for a while to serve that black flag and to still try to get the damage repaired for the one machine. Things went from, pretty decent day. He was hanging on. He was surviving, had a few run-ins, had a few issues, but other than that, he was still in good position until that lap, man. That lap and a half kind of just went the opposite direction there for that one machine, and unfortunately took his good race trajectory to, unfortunately, not the best run that he's had here in the series. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out for him. But I do know for a couple drivers, worked out nicely for them, as Ben Gleason was able to get back onto the lead lap. It was also the 31 ride. Brandon Holder also able to get back into the action here. Back on a lead lap for him, for drivers like Jordan Crider and a couple of these other guys that were close to going a lap down here this evening, including William Elmore. They're back on the lead lap. They're back into the action here this evening for Brandon Dayhoff, who we saw go a lap down himself. Here he is. He's in line to get the lucky dog in the wave around back on the lead lap. Same with Ryan Stevenson in that 10 machine, who also had a hold here on his pit stop as well. So for Dayhoff and Stevenson to get themselves back on the lead lap, that's a great break for them, as we do see Sleitler able to get back rolling. He's back out there on the Speedway. I do believe he has lost, one lap. So I do believe he has one lap down out there on the racetrack, but he does still have to serve that black flag. So he is going to have to make a pass-through penalty here as we go back after we go back to green flag racing. So the next lap around during the green flag conditions, or next couple laps, we will have to see this one ride unfortunately come down pit road and serve a green flag, black flag here this evening. As we get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. It's down across the line. When we take this green flag, it'll be 60 laps left to go here in this feature event. So 60 laps left to battle here this evening. For each and every one of these drivers, that opens up a big picture here. You got 20 laps to figure out what you need, where you need to be, who you need to work with, or who you want to work with to try and put yourself into the winning situation here this evening, especially with green flag pit stops still having to be run. We haven't seen anyone go past really 16, 17 laps in a run here this evening. So that means there is going to be green flag pit stops here this evening. Now, I don't know if you want to get them done and over with early in the run, maybe throughout the middle of this run or towards the end, come down pit road and make this green flag pit stop here before the end of this race. If you wait a little bit later, you get the opportunity to hopefully catch a caution flag and maybe catch a few of these other drivers a lap down out there on the Speedway after their green flag pit stops. But if you don't put them a lap down and the caution flag comes out later, you need to come down pit side and get fuel. They don't need to, then they can kind of leapfrog you there out on the racetrack. So it's going to be a little bit of strategy game plan here to finish off this feature event as we get ready to roll back to green flag racing here with only 20 laps left to go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump into our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening as they crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up session here this evening from Talladega Super Speedways. These drivers give us the sights and sounds around this amazing racetrack, as we did see a few drivers end up coming down pit road there last time by, and unfortunately for a couple of them they did end up with some penalties. So a tough break for Kevin Calkins. Calkins did end up getting a black flag, had to be held down pit road, and unfortunately for the 11 ride, he's now all by his lonesome here. He's already a lap down, and unfortunately at risk of potentially going farther a lap down. We do see the number 1 of Dustin Sleightler also down pit side here. So Sleightler heads down pit road. He was already a couple laps down here. Tough day for that number 1 ride, and for Shane Wyatt as well. Shane Wyatt, who was running up at the front of the pack here, looked at a very good run going. Lap 60, just after we went back to green flag racing, the 23 ride had disconnected from the server. Dropped due to packet loss for Shane Wyatt. So Wyatt, unfortunately, not sure if he lost internet or what may have happened, but nonetheless, for Shane Wyatt, went from having a very solid run, great performance here this evening, to now being potentially out of this race, as each and every one of these drivers still battling, still here to duke it out this evening, as Chris Getz and Melvin Brengerer lead the way here. So a pair of our playoff drivers out in front. You see Ben Gleason right there with them. Brandon Holder, Jordan Grinders there as well. We do see Brian Underwood, Danny White, Farrell Robbins, Josh Crider all right here, as well as Nathan Brookover. So a lot of our 72 at Gaston right there. So a lot of our playoff drivers still having to come down pit side at least once more here this evening. For Michael Ware, he's already made that additional pit stop here. He's trying to get lined up with the 10 of Ryan Stevenson, Brandon Dayup, and the number 1 rider, Dustin Sleightler, who's there with them. If they can try to get rolling here, try to get lined up, hopefully you don't lose too much time here to that lead pack, and maybe even work yourself to a better position, as our race leaders aren't too far away from their back bumper. But for all these cats here, they still have to make at least one more pit stop, and down across the line, it is 8 laps left to go here in this one. 8 laps left to duke it out here this evening. Is Melvin Brengerer and Chris Getz who lead the way. Wyatt Youngblood, really this is his first race here with the Premium Sun Car Racing League, rolls there in third. He's got Ben Gleason to his outside. The 31 of Brandon Holder right on his back bumper, with the 33 of Jordan Crider rounding out our top 6. That's where we see the 99 of Sean Wilder and the 76 ride of Farrell Robbins. Danny White's right there as well as our back-to-back champion here in the series. Number 6 ride of Mr. Brian Underwood, the 72 of Jonathan Gaston, the G-Man, and his Gaston's iRacing graphics right there in 10th. Josh Crider, our Season 2 champion here in the Premium Stock Car Racing League. The Rubbered Up Productions number 5 ride rolls back there in 12th. Nathan Brookover, another one of our playoff competitors, there in 13th. That is our lead group. That is the lead pack. Now they have about 44 seconds between themselves and our second group, that second pack that had already come down pit road here. Also, they ended up losing a couple of drivers as they came down pit side. For William Elmore, dealt with some issues. Kevin Calkins got hit with a pit road speeding penalty. And then they did have Dustin Sleightler with them, but Sleightler has unfortunately lost that 3-car pack and has fallen away from them and has fallen another lap down. Now they did pick up the 97 ride of Stoney Benfield, so they keep the 4-car pack here just in front of our race leaders. But my gosh, they are still giving up a little bit of time here to them. We'll have to wait and see if it'll work out in their benefit coming down pit road early, or if it'll help them out more coming down pit road a little bit later, as Brengerer continues to lead the way. Youngblood right there with him, with Holder and Farrell Robbins, the 79 of Danny White, as you do see the outside lane kind of falling back a little bit here, as Chris Getz and Gleason fall all the way back now into about that 6th and 8th position. They got the 99 of Wilder right there with them, and so I think we're going to start to see this lead pack start to head down pit side. They're going to start to need some fuel here, so they'll be working their way down to pit road here in a quick hurry. Now the big question is do they all come down at the same time? Do we start to see some of them come down pit road just kind of by their lonesome here? And that's exactly what we see for the 31 ride, who really had to lock things down so far. No penalty. Looks like he may have gotten down to pit road speed, but for Brandon Holder, Holder comes down pit side all by himself, and that is a big uh-oh late in the race. No dancing partners, no one to come down pit side with them. Means that he may potentially not have anyone to help him out when he gets rolling here. If he's got no drafting help, if these other drivers can roll for a lap or two and he has no one there to help him along here, it could really hurt his chances late in this race. And with only 4 or 5 laps left, having no drafting help to your back bumper could eliminate you from this feature event. So that's a tough break there for one of our playoff competitors. Here we go. We do see another group headed down pit side. Look at one of them coming down with a big hit of steam. That's the 18 of Wyatt Youngblood. There's a bunch of them that gotta get checked up here. We'll see if there's any black flags. If iRacing throws it out here for any of these drivers, it was looking very close for a couple of them right there. Looks like for the most part they're all able to get checked up, so no pit road speeding penalties as of yet. We do see Gaston, Danny White, Brangerer, Farrell Robbins, Wyatt Youngblood, Gleason, and Getz all come down pit road. Now, that's late in the race. All you need is that splash of gas and go. You need to just get back on the throttle. Hope you hang here with your group, hang with that pack, get lined back up as quickly as possible, and try to keep yourself in front of the secondary pack that's got to be coming down pit road this next time. As Lonnie, what's good, Lonnie says, it's going to be a great finish. Going to be a great finish here this evening. Here we go. Here comes Underwood, Crider. All these guys come back down pit side as we do see Jordan Crider is going to stay up for at least another lap here. Okay, well, this is going to be interesting. Jordan Crider is going to run a little bit longer, unfortunately, still for the 33 and the 99. They're not going to have a whole lot of drivers with them, but we did see Underwood, Crider, and Brookover all come down at the same time here. So they're going to come down pit road. They're going to get rolling. They're going to hope that they can stay in front of that second group. As we look back here, you see Farrell Robbins, Danny White, teammates hooked up here. They're trying to work themselves into what could be a big day here at Talladega. Wyatt Youngblood, newcomer to the series, looking very strong here all the evening, rolling right there with them. Brangerer a little farther back. He's got a group here with Gleason and the 31 of Brandon Holder right there with him. Luckily enough for Holder, he was able to find a couple of these guys, join their battle, join their draft here, and keep on rolling. As now, here we go. We see Jordan Crider, and it looks like Sean Wilder's going to stay out here another lap. What in the world is going on here? So Wilder stays out again, another lap. This is going to be the 20th lap in the run for this 99 ride, and I'm not sure if he's going to make it back around the racetrack. He may be out of fuel here in this 99 ride. It looks like he is losing speed. I do believe the 99 ride missing pit road is going to be out of fuel. He's got to coast this thing back down pit side. Unfortunately, he's going to be so far off the throttle. He's going to give up so much time and everything else to these other drivers that, unfortunately, this is really going to hurt his day, and going to take a good day, a solid run for the 99 ride and throw right out the window, because it should forfeit the race. Lead back over to Farrell Robbins as see Wilder still just trying to limp this thing down into corner number 3. He may be able to get there. Will it be enough as he heads down and through corner number 3, nice and easy out of corner number 4. Maybe if he runs at this pace, maybe he can last another lap, but he's given up so much time. If he can somehow make it to the end without having to come back down pit road, it looks like he's trying it. He's definitely trying to make it to the end without pitting, but the lead pack is coming in a quick hurry, so I'm not sure if it's going to matter or not for the 99. The fuel's going to be too important as the white flag has been thrown. Here comes that lead pack, and here comes Brian Underwood. Underwood with a great push from that 5 right of Josh Crider, as it's a 5-car battle here at the front of the field. As there we go, the 99 of Sean Wilder does unfortunately look like he's out of fuel. He's down on the apron. There goes all of our race leaders. Unfortunate break there for him, but it's a 5-car pack here at the front of the pack. So for Underwood, he's got Crider there to his back bumper, trying to work themselves into victory lane. For Farrell Robbins and Danny White, they duke it out down low as for the final time here this season and this evening for these premium stock car racing league drivers. Our playoffs begin, and right now one of our drivers looking to find a victory lane as a big shove coming to the back bumper of that 6 right as the second group catches up to him, but it's down low. Farrell Robbins through the tri-oval. Danny White will stick with him and push Farrell Robbins Robbins into victory lane. So Farrell Robbins picks up the dub. Danny White will come home in second with Wyatt Youngblood right there in third, just staying true to the inside lane. They never faltered, they never lifted, and they never gave an inch as they were able to drive each other home into the top 3 spots here this evening. For Underwood, he falls back into 4th. Josh Crider falls back into 5th. We saw Gleason and Brooke over there making late race charges into that group. Unfortunately, just got there a little too late and not enough to make any ground there. And unfortunately for Gleason, he'll come on 6th. Brooke over back in 7th. Brent Brewer there in 8th with Jonathan Gaston and Chris Getz rounding out our top 10 here this evening. And for some of our other playoff drivers, when we look back here at Michael Ware, tough break for him on the afternoon. For Jordan Crider and Brandon Holder, not the performances that they were hoping for here in their start to the playoffs here this season. So we'll have to wait and see how all the playoffs kind of shape up, where everyone kind of sits, as we'll get everyone ready to rock and roll, as everyone will get ready to celebrate and enjoy a big run and a big win here this evening. As for Farrell Robbins, this is a big win for him. I'm not sure if it's win and you're into the next round. Nonetheless, for the 76 ride, if it is win and you're into the next round, he's locked in into the next round. He doesn't have to worry about next week's elimination race. Nonetheless, he does earn a ton of extra points here this evening, sets himself up nicely either way here for next Saturday's feature. Danny White with some massive stage points and a second place finish here this evening as well. That definitely is going to set him up nicely heading into our next race. And having Wyatt Youngblood right there with him, and that really helped them out there. The Youngblood definitely gave them an extra edge, an extra run here towards the end to be able to pick up the dub. He could have left them and joined Josh Crider and Brian Underwood on the outside lane. He stuck with these guys, hang with them, and able to come home with some solid finishes. As here we go, get Farrell, Danny White, the rest of the Old Dogs Racing League or Racing Group here down on the front straightaway. A little photo op here after a big win for them, as we'll get ready to pull those 3 up here into the broadcast booth for their post-race interviews. Post-race interviews coming up next, and I do believe for Farrell Robbins, not only did he pick up the win here tonight, earn those stage points and everything else here for Farrell Robbins, he also earns the Rollin Wieners Lucky Dash for Cash as well. So the Rollin Wieners Dash for Cash also going to Farrell Robbins. So an extra $90 payday for that 76 ride as well here this evening, man. That is absolutely awesome. As we'll get ready to pull Farrell, Danny White, and Wyatt Youngblood up here into the booth. Hey, Farrell, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yes, Aaron, what is going on?
Not much, Farrell, man. What a run, what a race, brother. Take us back through this one, as seemed like you guys just kind of had the strategy figured out here this evening, and then late in this one, you kind of get lined up there with your teammate Danny White, and you guys just played it perfectly here at the end. Great green flag pit stop, great run back out onto the racetrack. You have one of the newcomers there, Youngblood, with you guys. He stays with you even when he got that little bit of pressure to your outside from our back-to-back champion Brian Underwood, our Season 2 champion Josh Crider. The young guy stays with you guys, and it helps push you up here into victory lane, man. Take us back through it, and what's kind of going through your mind right now as you're able to start these playoffs off on a high note here this evening.
Yeah, well, you know what? First of all, first things first, my teammates, Danny White, number 79, and Jonathan Gaston, 72. They came up with a scheme, what to do, pit. Aaron, that was the best pit stop I've ever had. It worked out perfectly. Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Danny. Danny was talking to me. Danny pushed me. He was kind enough to stay behind me. And this is the result that we got. So really want to thank also my Chevrolet Dude Wipes, extra large, baby. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Need the extra large, that's for certain. As Farrell, man, what a run, what a drive here. And as you said, Danny White stayed with you, stuck with you right there. Now, I'm not sure in the playoffs here, is it win and you're into the next round, or is it just straight up points here between eliminations?
I believe, and I could be wrong, it points up to elimination. I don't even know where I'm at on that, Aaron.
Well,
But
big
you know,
win, big bonuses going your way for the win as well. Should put you into a pretty decent position. We did know that,
yes,
I believe you got some good stage points there at the end of stage 2. I don't think you got any in stage 1, but there wasn't a whole
none.
lot of drivers that were in the playoffs in stage 1 that earned those stage points. So should still be in a pretty dang good spot rolling into our first elimination race next week.
I'm looking forward to it. Gotta get with my team, come up with another game plan here, and hopefully me or the other two can get a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that we're going from, the super speedway, a big racetrack, I do believe we are heading to Homestead next week. It's another big track, but it's a totally different ball game. How do you kind of get prepared for that? You guys just going to be hitting the practice sims here, doing a lot of different practices and time trials and trying to figure out that strategy. What's the game plan going into next week?
Bennett, that's a good question. Myself, I like to run the bottom in the turns, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, to where most people like to go mid to high. We're gonna have to come up with something, a happy medium, and it's all about tires, right? We got to protect our tires.
Yeah, absolutely. Here at Talladega, you don't have to worry about those tires really at all. It's all about fuel and then just track position, avoiding the big wrecks, the big crashes, and keeping yourself in the picture until late in the race. And it played out perfectly here for you tonight. Hopefully it'll be the exact same scenario for you guys when it comes to Homestead next week. But man, another great run, a great performance for you. Another super speedway win as you're starting to become one of the super speedway ringers here in the series, as you're able to pick up another one here in this one. Farrell, anyone else you'd like to thank here tonight for such a great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Again, Danny and Jonathan, we're very quiet when we race. We don't bicker a whole lot, but when it's time to figure this out, we're comparing notes. But especially Danny standing behind me and actually pushing me through the start finish. My family, I think I got a couple people watching, but overall, the league, Jonathan and Brian, and yourself as well, my friend.
Absolutely, brother. Well, it was a heck of a run, a heck of a day here at the Speedway for the Old Dogs Racing team, and for yourself as you're able to park the 76 up and into victory lane here at Talladega Super Speedway. Farrell, congratulations on another great run, another great checkered flag, and a hot start here to the playoffs. We look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack and hopefully right back up here in the broadcast booth next Saturday.
Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Farrell Robbins, as Farrell picks up the dub and parks the 76 right up here into victory lane. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the number 79, it's Danny White. Danny comes home in position number 2, Farrell's teammate. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Danny, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
I got you, bud.
Danny, man, what a run, what a drive for you here in this one. Obviously, winning that first stage, I believe you came second or third there in stage number 2, and then you come home second here at the end of this race as well. So obviously a very good points day for you in our first playoff race of the season, and here you are late in this one, pushing your teammate Farrell Robbins into victory lane as well to help him out and gain him a ton of points here, trying to work the Old Dogs Racing team potentially into the next round of these playoffs.
Hey, that was a goal coming in. We wanted to survive, and we could find ourselves up front at the end. Whoever was leading it, we were going to push them to the win. And like you said, I won an earlier stage and had a good second stage. And when I had my buddy in front of me there wasn't no pulling out and hanging him out to dry. So we was going to make sure he could get all he could get, and got lucky and got him to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if it was luck, man, because you guys were just hooked together here in this one. Great pitch strategy. Obviously, great job getting back up the speed, back up the power, keeping yourselves, tight together there, rejoining the racing surface, and you ended up having one of the newcomers here with you as well, the 18 rider Wyatt Youngblood. I don't know if you guys are really know much about Youngblood, if you guys talked to him throughout the race or not, but it seemed like he was sticking with you guys there. He had an opportunity down the back straightaway when we saw Underwood and Crider make the move to try to get around you two. He could have went with them, but he decided not to. Stayed right there on your back bumper and helped push you and Farrell up here into victory lane.
He did, and I'm gonna message him after the race. He ran a really good race. I think this might be his first one with us, but ran with him all day. He did a great job. He did a good job pushing. He ran a good line when he was in front of me, but really good job by him, and he should be pleased with the run he had today.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very good run. Great drive there for the young man. I do believe, yes, this was his first race with the Premium Stock Car Racing League, and a hell of a performance here in his first race for the 18 ride. But for the Old Dogs Racing team, man, we saw, obviously, you and Farrell coming home 1 and 2. We saw Gaston back there at 9th, but he was up there battling, leading laps, having some great runs here this evening as well, man. You guys got to be very, very happy with how well not only yourself, but the team ran all evening.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, man. If we can all run like this, could be a good playoff for us. So great way to start it, and we'll move on to next week and see if we can put it all together again.
Yeah, absolutely. Headed to Homestead next, so it's going to be a little bit more of a change there. Obviously, another big track, but now we got to worry not only about fuel strategy and just being there at the end, but you got to worry about those tires as well. So Farrell talked about it. He's going to be getting some practice in. What's the game plan for the Old Dogs Racing team? Do you guys get together here, maybe on a Wednesday, Thursday, kind of run some, sim races and just trying to figure out some strategies on where to run, where's the best time to use tires, or just kind of get that game plan together to give yourselves the best opportunity again to try to find victory lane?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I mean, that's a tricky track. Run low and get loose, or run high and burn your tires up. So it's gonna be fun. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how the second race and our first elimination race of the playoffs gets kind of gets underway and gets us, excited for the rest of the playoffs. But for yourself, Danny, heck of a run, heck of a drive here in this one, man. Who would you like to thank for such a great run and great performance here this evening?
I mean, I got to stick with the teammates, Jonathan and Farrell, awesome guys to run with every week. And for the three of us to run so well today, I mean, shoot, Jonathan led, I think, 24 laps. So he had a great run. A little slip up on that last pit stop. We might have been 1, 2, 3. So just a great day for our team.
Yeah, great day for the team. Great day of racing action, man. Looked like a lot of fun out there. And for you and Farrell to be able to celebrate here this evening, a 1-2 finish for the team and being able to gain some very valuable points heading into our first elimination race next week. Danny, we can't wait to see you guys out there and see if you guys can try to navigate your way back up here into the broadcast booth.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you and everything you do.
Absolutely, man. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Danny White, as Danny comes home in position number 2 here this evening. Solid run, solid drive there for that 79 ride. Now, unfortunately, we don't have Wyatt Youngblood in the Discord here. I don't see him in there, so I can't drag him in. I don't see him in any of the open channels or anything else. So unfortunately, doesn't look like he is currently in the Discord. So unfortunately, we can't pull him in here for post-race interviews, but nonetheless, we heard, Danny talk about him there. We talked about him a bit there, having a great run, making that decision to stick with those guys late in this race and help pushing, Farrell and Danny here to a 1-2 finish and sticking with those guys. So shout out there to Mr. Wyatt Youngblood, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive here in his first Premium Stock Car Racing League event, and hopefully we can see him jump up there and have some more fun, have some more great runs with us here to finish off this season. So shout out there to the 18 riders. We'll get ready to, unfortunately, call it a night. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, great racing action, some great back and forth, man. These guys really put together a absolutely amazing show for us. Very minimal caution flags, a lot of green flag laps, some green flag pit stops to spice things up here at Talladega Super Speedway here this evening. And It made for some great, amazing racing and a great finish here this evening. Shout out to Farrell Robbins again with the win. Shout out to all of you guys for tuning in and watching and enjoying the amazing racing action here this evening. If you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit the like button on the stream right now. Hit that thumbs up button for us. Hit that subscribe button as well. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Hit that sub button. Join the Peacemaker family, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow night. Tomorrow we got 2 broadcasts tomorrow. We actually have our Premium Stock Car Racing League at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, and then to finish off the night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, we have our season finale for the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. So 2 big races, 2 good battles there, and a couple winners tomorrow evening to celebrate here on Peacemaker Gaming. So hopefully we see you guys all there and cheering those guys on and up here in the grandstands. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all back here in the next one. See y'all tomorrow, chat. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love.
Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip
What's
the
up?
wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal,
Can you-
victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights
All right,
dance,
so it looks like we
tires
do
squeal,
have our
victory's
third place
close, you can
driver
almost
now
feel.
loaded
Pulse is
in
wild,
to the
finish
Discord
looms,
chat. So
the
let's see if we can
checkered
get him in
flag.
here. I mean, we're pretty much ready to hit the end live stream button, but looks like we will pull him back in nonetheless. So let's switch scenes here and pull this back up quickly. See if we can get this back in here for our third place finisher. Let me change some things around. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our third place finisher, Mr. Wyatt Youngblood here this evening. Hey, Wyatt, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth to get a copy.
I got you.
Wyatt, man, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening, brother. Take us back through this one. Obviously, just duking it out here. New driver, new competitors to deal with, and you just kept yourself out of trouble. Kept that car pointing in the right direction, and just in a good spot all evening long, and it pays dividends as late in this race you find your way up here and into a battle and able to come home in the third position here this evening, man. Take us back through it and what's going through your mind here after your first Premium Stock Car Racing League event.
Yeah, a big part of it was pit stops. You had to time those perfectly coming down pit road and to avoid a speeding penalty and stuff like that. And I really just tried to play it safe and stay around the middle of the pack and just towards the front and tried to avoid all the wrecks to be there at the end because I'm not going to be able to make every single race this season, and I know that the playoffs have already started. So I just kind of try to stay out of the wrecks and be there then because I wasn't trying to lead any laps or anything. And yeah, it paid off. I was hoping to win, but I'll take a P3.
Yeah, absolutely. Any day you can come to Talladega and be able to survive any of the big wrecks or any of the carnage out there on the racetrack is always a good day. But when you get an opportunity to even give yourself an option to try and win this race, means that it's a good day out there at the Speedway. And late in this one, you kind of had an opportunity there. I don't know if you knew it down the back straightaway or not, but the two cars that went to your outside were our back-to-back champion and our Season 2 champion here in the series, but you decided to stick with the guys down low. You hung with Farrell Robbins and Danny White, and you helped push them into victory lane. What was kind of the thought process there down the back straightaway? Was it maybe thinking about going high? Did you think just sticking down low was going to give you the best opportunity for a good finish?
Well, for a second, I wanted to go high, and then I had sort of a run that I wanted to stick with, and I didn't want to potentially lose that run by just turning over to the outside. And I don't know, I just wanted to kind of stay there and kind of see what they do, because I've never raced in this league before, so I was just kind of seeing are they gonna block? What are they gonna do? So I kind of just stayed to the inside, hoping that I would find an opportunity to go to their inside, but that opportunity never opened up. But I'll take what I got.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can come here, obviously new series, new drivers, you're right in the middle of the playoff battle and everything else, but you stick with it and you finish it off with a great third place run here for your first race with these guys, man. How does that feel, being able to come in here, new drivers, new series, playoffs are underway? How do you kind of deal with not wanting to be too much in the way, but also still wanting to race and put yourself up and into victory lane?
Yeah, it felt good. It gives me more confidence to run this league more often, knowing that I'm not just going to wreck everybody. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought that the racing was really good, and yeah, I just stuck to the front, and we came home P3.
Absolutely, man. A very, very solid performance. Very solid first race of your career here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. Wyatt, who would you like to thank for such a great performance and solid drive out there on the racetrack?
Top Speed Graphics, Crown Security, everybody who helps me race and giving me this opportunity.
Well, Wyatt, heck of a run, heck of a performance here this evening, man. We can't wait to see you back in action here in the season, and hopefully see if you can park yourself back up here on the podium, maybe a couple spots better one of these nights, and into victory lane.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Wyatt Youngblood, coming home there in third. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for the young lad. Unfortunately, that is now going to end it for us here this evening. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares, all of the love here this evening. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys definitely do it again for us. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, and we will get ready to see you guys back in here tomorrow evening for two more amazing races, two more great days, battles of fun here on Peacemaker Gaming, and man, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how both of those races play out, especially for our season finale tomorrow night in the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. But thank y'all for watching here this evening. We'll see you guys back in here tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday night, chat. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you guys back in here. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium League, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Saturday nights we ride, we fly, premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight, racing forever in the glowing night. Screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room.